Today is day one of me completely changing my life. Over the last few months, life has wanted to throw challenge after challenge at me. And I'm at that point now where I am mentally struggling and I'm at burnout and I'm exhausted from everything. And I wasn't going to share this video at all because I see myself as a very strong-minded person and a very strong person in general to be able to handle situations that are going on in my life. And with situations that I've had in my past that have been extremely traumatic and horrific, this is nothing compared to that. So I know I can get through it. But right now I'm in the middle of the storm and it feels very overwhelming and very challenging to me. I wasn't going to make the video, but then I thought maybe someone else is going for a similar situation, and to maybe have somebody else say, you know, I'm going through it too, you're not alone, might help them feel less alone with what they're going through right now. So if you don't know me, my name is Rachel. I'm a solo mum to one, and on this channel I usually talk frugal living and budgeting, but today I'm going to talk about mum burnout and well-being and challenges of life. So I can't go too much into what's been going on with some things, and I can go into a little bit more detail about other things that have been going on that I haven't shared because I thought I could deal with it on my own, like most proud people do. But one thing that is going on that I can't talk in depth with is unfortunately the house. It hasn't turned out how I wanted it to turn out, unfortunately. There are things that have gone wrong with the house that I am being blamed for, which is not my fault. And unfortunately, it has escalated, and the person that is supposed to get these things fixed is now refusing to fix anything or saying that they have done as much as they can when they haven't. There is independent companies now coming in to resolve the issue, and I'm going to leave it there because it is escalating. I know that this person and their family watch my YouTube channel and they take everything that I say, take it out of context and use it against me. So for now, I am going to leave any house matters off YouTube so that I can deal with this professionally and legally. But once it is all resolved and finished, I will do another video and I will explain in depth of exactly what was going on. So that video will be coming out, I just don't know when. So let's put a pin in that one for now. Moving on to the rest of the things that are going on. One thing is my son, the most important person in my life. If you've been here long enough, you know that I've always thought that my son has ADHD. I think he has hyperactive ADHD and a little bit inattentive, so it could be definitely combined ADHD. I've done so much research on it. However, since September, I have had 3 different teachers from his school say that they think he could possibly have ADHD, which is a massive relief for me, but also means that the next step is another challenge, because now trying to get him diagnosed is another challenge to overcome. I spoke to my ex about it. I don't think he is completely on board, but I've told him I'm going to do the test anyway because I think it's important, and he's agreed. So we are going to take him to get his ADHD test done. We're going through the right to choose method. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I've got all the papers. I'm going to be filling them out today, and I'm going to be taking the next steps from there. I know it's not an easy process, and I know it's not a quick process, but my son is having more trouble at school over the last few months. His emotions are extremely dysregulated. Because there's situations going on in the house, I am slightly being blamed for it, which is another stress on me. But I am trying my best to do what I can to make sure that he is okay. But I've always believed that my son has ADHD. When you meet him, you can just tell. He's just wonderfully crazy, and he's uniquely perfect for me as his mother. But by getting a diagnosis, I can get the tools, the resources and the support that I need to be able to support him better. But that's good news, but also it's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure on me, but I'm willing to do that because he's my son. And the other thing that's been really bothering me as well of late is the fact that I don't talk to my dad. I haven't spoken to my dad for nearly 6 months now. I had a very close relationship with him. There were some arguments that happened and some boundaries that I set. I set some boundaries towards him, and they didn't like, my dad and his wife didn't like those boundaries. But I was willing to stand by them. I was willing to stand by my boundaries. I was enforcing my boundaries, and they didn't respect them. And because of that and the situation around it, which I don't want to go into because I don't think it's fair, has resulted in us not talking. Now, I have said to my son that if he wants to talk to his grandpa, then he is welcome to have a relationship with him if he wants to. I'm never going to stop him. He's just got to tell me he wants to go and see him. I will then contact my dad and I will see if he wants to see his grandson, and then we can go from there. I've already told my son, because he's old enough to understand, that the issue that is between me and his grandpa is between me and his grandpa and not between my son and his grandpa. So if they want to have that relationship, they can. At the moment, my son doesn't want to, but I have continuously told him that he can have that relationship if he ever chooses to. He doesn't need to worry about me or my feelings or being loyal to me, because this is about him and having a relationship that he wants. So I just want to make that clear, that I have made it very clear to my son that he can have a relationship with his grandpa if he chooses to. But I'm not going to force it, but I am going to encourage it if that's what he wants. My dad has disowned me twice. This is the second time he's disowned me. I thought that maybe things might change, but I think it's become very apparent in the last few weeks that it's not going to. And I think I'm starting to accept the fact that my dad's not going to be in my life. And I feel like I've had to sit down and reflect and decide whether or not that if he decides to come back now in my life or any time in the future, do I want it now? Because I feel that you've done this twice to me. You've walked away from my life twice. I will never fully trust you. I don't feel like I can build another relationship with you that I had before. And I just feeling like, do I want to allow that in my life? Because I know that a lot of people are saying that maybe they've lost their dad, and I understand that. And that is something that I think about quite a lot. Whether or not, like, if something happened to my dad, something I'm going to regret, but also am I willing to put myself through this and this pain and this anxiety and the worry? Am I willing to do that to myself as well? So I'm very much like this. I'm really like in the scales, typical Libra. I'm just the scales of not sure what to do. Do I leave the door open and potentially have a relationship with him in the future? Or do I say, I'm going to close the door for my own mental and emotional well-being? So I feel torn of what to do there. So it's something that I think about regularly. And I have to grieve, because right now I feel like I'm grieving the relationship from my dad because he's not in my life. And then the other thing that I've been going through is, if you've watched my video the other week, you saw that I had a health scare. And luckily it was just a scare and it wasn't an issue, and I'm okay and I'm healthy and I'm well. But when you go through something like that, I don't know if anyone else does it, but I very much feel that over the last few weeks I've had to sit and reflect on my life and realise what's going on in my life that I'm not happy with, or is there something in my life that I don't want? And what I've realised is that I'm actually just surviving life, and I'm not living life, and I'm not doing things that I want to do, and I'm actually doing things in life that I don't want to do because I feel like I need to do them to survive. And maybe I need to keep doing them to survive, but I'm not taking the steps, or I'm not doing the thing to be able to stop doing the things that I don't want to do so that I can do the things that I want to do. And I feel like I'm sat here just going, well, you know, things are tough at the moment. When things calm down, when things get easier, when this problem's resolved, then I can go into it. And I feel like I'm just wasting time. And I'm not where I thought I would be at 42. And I'm not going towards all the things that I want to have. And I think I've had to sit down and reflect and realise that I'm in survival mode. And I have been in survival mode for an extremely long time. And my nervous system is shot. It's just so messed up that I don't know how to live. So last night, I'm recording this on Wednesday the 4th of March. And on Tuesday the 3rd of March, my son had the meltdown of all meltdowns. I've never seen him like that before. That was a whole new thing. He went to bed. Then I had the meltdowns of all meltdowns. And I was crying and cried myself to sleep. And I woke up this morning deciding to change. I have to change. I can't keep living this life. It's not the life I want to live. I have to change. And it's not so much like I want to now, it's I have to. If I want to live the best life that I can live, if I want to live a peaceful, happy, joyful life, it's not going to come knocking on my door. I need to do something. And yes, there are massive challenges in my life right now, but the challenges come to test us. The challenges come because we need to learn lessons. Every challenge that comes in our life is because we need to learn something about a situation. We need to learn something about ourselves. Maybe there's something in our life that we've outgrown, but we can't see it. So the universe comes in and shakes stuff up so that we have to make decisions, and we have to, things just ripped out from underneath us and without any prior warning. And we have to adapt. And I've adapted way too much, and now it's time to start thinking, no, I'm going to take control. And I think that's the biggest thing. I need to take control of my life. And so today is day 1, and I'm going to do a 90-day. I'm doing this for 90 days of changing my life, and I'm going to share this journey with you. So today is day 1. It's Wednesday the 4th of March, and 90 days from now, whatever that date will be, I'll write it here, I'm going to see how much I can change my life, and I'm going to document this journey every single week of what I'm doing. So it's going to be like a little mini vlog of what I've done that week to make steps to change my life. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to work on my well-being. My stress levels are awful. My sleep is terrible. My nutrition is not bad, but I'm a snacker. I'm a terrible snacker, and I'm emotionally eating at night. When I stop and I breathe, that's when the munches come in and I can't stop eating. So it's about me now making some high protein snacks that I can have in the evening, so I can still snack, but I'm eating high protein food, which is going to keep me fuller for longer, so I'm not going to eat as much as I work on my mindset and my emotional well-being. Now, I listen to motivational podcasts every single day. When I'm cleaning up, when I'm getting the breakfast ready, when I'm in the car, I'm listening to motivational podcasts all the time, but I'm not reading. So I picked up my most favourite book that I've read 3 times. This is my 4th time reading it. It's The Best Seat in the Universe. It's my favourite book, and it really helps you reset everything. I'll link it in the description box below for you. It's a fantastic book. If you want a personal development book, but you don't want it to be like a personal development, take this step, take this step, take that step, and you want to read like a story, so it's like a fiction book, but it's a personal development book, this is the book you need. It is absolutely fantastic. It's by Graham Anderson, and I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. I'm going to start reading more. I'm going to get my mindset right. I'm going to interrupt my negative thoughts. I'm going to interrupt them because I'm having a lot of them at the moment. I'm having a lot about how my body looks, how I look, how my life is in the gutter, and I'm just not giving myself the positive mindset and the positivity that I actually need. So I'm going to take the steps to completely change my mindset as well. And I'm actually going to start learning. I love learning, but I haven't been learning anything new for a really long time. So I'm going to start learning something new. And I'm going to make a pros and cons list of the things I want in my life and the things I don't want in my life, and what the actionable steps are for me to change that over. And I'm going to share it all with you. Now, people say online that everyone has the same 24 hours in a day, but we don't. Mums don't have the same 24 hours in a day than someone that doesn't have kids. We're very, very different. They're very different 24 hours. And I want this to be, I got really passionate then. Sorry about that. I want this to be how I can reset and change my life in 90 days as a mum, as a single mum, and how my 24 hours and how I utilise them to the best I can to be able to change my life, to have a better life for me and my son. I'm asking you to keep me accountable for doing that. And I hope you share the journey with me. I wanted to share the journey of the house and how I was going to redecorate and rebuild it. Unfortunately, it's not working out how I wanted it to work out, and it's took its toll on me massively. Now, if my mum raised one thing about me, she raised a fighter, because I fight. Every time something comes and knocks me on my backside, I get back up and I go back at it, because that's just in my nature and that's who I am. But as I'm doing that, I'm not taking care of me, and I feel like I need to slow down and I need to breathe and I need to take care of me. And that's my physical, my mental, my spiritual, my emotional, every pillar of my well-being needs to be looked after. And one thing I am determined to do as well, at least once a week, I'm going to have one evening of guilt-free doing nothing. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to have my mind thinking about businesses. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to sit and I'm going to watch a film. I'm going to sit and I'm going to play with my son. I'm going to sit and I'm going to doom scroll without feeling guilty, because maybe that's exactly what I need. It's just a little bit of time away from the rat race that I have in my head. So that's what I'm going to do. I know that was quite a lot. I know I was quite passionate. But I hope that you can relate that maybe your life isn't where you want it to be, but the only way it's going to change is if you change. And maybe things haven't worked out the way you thought they were going to work out, but that's okay too. It just means that this isn't for you. Something in your life's not meant for you. And maybe it was something that you had to do to learn a lesson, to be able to live a better life in the future. But this is my journey. I'm going to post at least once a week with continuing my content of frugal living. I'm going to do some Easter shops next week as well. I think I'm going to go to B&M, or would like me to go to Home Bargains first, let me know. And I'm going to carry on doing all those fun, helpful things for you too. And the weather's going to get better, so it's car boot time. I do love a car boot. And I'm going to go around some charity shops and show you some things. So I'm still going to keep all my usual content. But over the next 3 months, at least once a week, I'm going to be posting on what I did that week to make my life better. So if you want to join me on that journey, if you just want to follow along on that journey, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you listening to me. I want to try and keep this as relatable as possible, because I know that I'm not the only person going through this. And as a mum, it can be a lot more challenging, because you've got so much more responsibility than the single person that just has their work and their home and the gym and their friends, and they don't have the responsibility of another human being. And I feel like until you have that responsibility of another human being, your 24 hours is going to look very different to someone else's. So I want this to be a mum edition of changing my life in 90 days. Let me know if you think I can do it, because right now I am struggling. But as I said, my mum raised a fighter, and I ain't going down without a fight. So I'm going to fight back. I'm going to fight back for my life. That's what we're going to do. So if you want to follow along with me, or you want to just give me some support, or you want to give me some encouragement, then drop it in the comments below for me as well. And also let me know if you would like me to set up some kind of community group, maybe a Facebook community group, or maybe a WhatsApp community group. Let me know if you want to do that, and maybe we can all share ideas of having a healthier lifestyle, not just like the physical and nutritional side of it, but mindset and everything else like that, because it is something that I feel quite passionate about. So if you'd like me to set up another community group off YouTube and onto a different site, then do let me know in the comment box below. If you liked today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with somebody else if they need to go through a revamping their life journey as well. Maybe I can give them some tips or some advice, or just some motivation and inspiration. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can follow along on my journey. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope whenever you're watching this, you're having a good morning, good day, or good evening, and I will see you on the next one. Bye guys.